Hello, welcome to another podcast. I am very excited to share this one with you. This is a series of 3. So you haven't listened to the first and second parts of this. This is the third one. And I was just thinking about what this episode is about right before hitting record. And I was like, this is the episode when you feel like your ego is running the show. Anytime you feel doubt creeping in, and you feel like things are against you instead of you being the pillar of light that you are. This is the kind of episodes that you come back when you have forgotten your truth and you feel like I am grasping for clarity. I am grasping to get myself out of this moment of forgetfulness of who I truly am. And so this episode is one of those that you come back to and listen to. And I truly invite you in this moment, in this episode, to allow yourself to receive it as a transmission. It's going to be pure channeling. I'm just going to be reading my conversation that I had a couple months ago with my highest self and my soul council while I was just channeling something that was being alchemized out of my field. And what I mean by that is that I was releasing fear-based beliefs. I was releasing my ego or the tight grip that my ego had in my work. So this is the kind of episodes that you can continue to come back to every time you feel like I'm getting in my own way. I'm getting in my own way and my ego is running the show and I feel frustrated and it feels like I'm like going against the current and I want to come back to my truth and my power and my light. And so I'm just going to go ahead and read. I'm just going to go right into it. I'm going to go ahead and read the transmission. I feel like this is very beautiful when I have done this 3-part series that is just all channeled. And so you can really understand the kind of connection that I have with Source. And in me sharing this, you will also remember that connection that you have with Source that can be exactly the same. I remember years ago when I began to trans channel, and I've mentioned my trans channel before here in the previous episodes, and especially when I began to trans channel, I was for sure sharing it on this podcast. So if you go back, to like the episodes of 2019 and 2020 specifically, those are the episodes where I really truly open up into what it felt like to open up to my channeling abilities and what does it really mean to be a channel in the purest form is to be so connected to a source that you are, that you open communication to your highest self, to the beings and the council, the soul council, as I call it, that are here to support you. Like, we don't come here to earth by ourselves. Like, yes, in body we do, but we're always supported. And I'm sure that you at some level have also felt that throughout your life. It doesn't matter your level of consciousness as you're listening to this conversation. You know that you are supported, whether you are very connected to angels or you're very connected to God or you're very connected to your highest self, you're connected to the universe, like whatever it is, you always know that you're guided. Like there is magic that happens in our lives that makes it almost undeniable for us to like not really truly acknowledge the presence of something that's beyond us. And so the more I have developed my abilities to connect and to remember how supported I am and who is in my team and how, what my mission is here on earth, the easier it is for me to welcome these beings into my field, to understand their purpose in my field, and to co-create together to continue to just explore my expression here on earth and to be here carrying this frequency and these codes for all of you who are here listening to this conversation as well. And so with that said, when I began to channel in 2019, like trans channel, meaning letting go of my body and really just channeling, it was almost like I let go of my body so much because I felt like sometimes I was going somewhere, like I was, like channeling some other beings that were coming into my body temporarily, like things like that. And that has evolved so much into understanding that we're not going anywhere. We're right here. And that those beings that used to speak to me, they literally are in my field and I know how to operate with them in my field. And I know how to just open in connection. Like I'm really excited to have those conversations that I know that are coming in the podcast. So this is just like a bit of like a teaser into some of the things that are coming in the podcast, but I will be talking more so about the frequency field and our field in general, and how we channel conversations with angels and with beings and with our highest self in a way that feels really natural. Like, it doesn't have to be this thing that you like have to trans channel, or some being has to come here. Like, it's just so freaking easy. It's really all here, and it's very easy accessible. And the more we learn how to prepare our bodies and regulate our bodies, the more we are able to just anchor it in such an embodied way that is just like the way that we do things. And so my work is shifting so much into that, like in everything that I share for free, like the podcast and the Telegram, which if you're not part of my Telegram group, I do invite you to come into that community. It's so beautiful. It's called The Portal. I just recently renamed it. And it's a space where I share more often than I share in the podcast, and more rawly sometimes, because I just like, it just kind of comes and I just share there without any filters. It's still in social media, like Instagram. I have to prepare the videos and record the videos, and so there's a bit of a filter there. But when it comes to Telegram, it's really no filter. I share so transparently and very often. So, and it's completely free. So I will leave the link on the show notes for you. And so anything that I share in my free spaces, like Instagram or the podcast or Telegram, or even transmissions that I do, like free quote unquote master classes, like all of those are remembrance. All of those are just like teasers for you to come back. There is something that you feel when you enter my field. There is something that you just naturally awaken into about yourself. It's not so much about me, but about yourself, right? Like, there is something that you're like, what is this magic? And this magic is just like a return to home. I always said this from the very beginning when I started coming into online, when I left my yoga teaching career per se, and I went fully online, and I was like, I'm just here to bring people back home. And when I said back home, but home is not a place. Like, I am just here to bring people back home to themselves and hold that steady ground for them to remind themselves as many times as they need to continue to embody that truth, not just remember it, but embodiment. And so the embodiment piece is when you'll know when you're ready to enter my spaces, especially from here on. Like, so much has shifted, and I have awakened into so much again that I can hold a higher frequency for all of us, and for myself too, which has been beautiful. But so all the free spaces is where you're going to remember, and you're going to know when you're ready to prepare your vessel. You're going to know when you're ready to open a space in your body and to learn how to master higher frequencies in your body and higher remembering in your body, and how to embody that and sustainably grow from that truth. And so that's what we're going to do inside of my paid spaces. And we have one coming up, and it's called Remember Her. And it's not a masterclass, right? It's not something that you're going to go and learn. It's something that you're going to go and remember. I'm going to hold you in a very high frequency. It's not so much about the words. It's not so much about the things that I'm going to tell you. It's about the frequency that I'm going to hold for you. So this is going to be voice activations. It's going to be really magical. It's going to be an experience. And it's happening April 11th, and it's only $33 to join us. And the excitement thing about it is like, if this is a space that you want to be a part of, if your soul guides you into this activation that is for you. Because again, it's an activation, it's a remembering of maybe codes that you've forgotten inside of you, maybe parts of you that you've forgotten and want to come back online. And so my purpose here is to bring us all fully online. The thing is that I can never bypass, nobody actually can, your free will. So you get to choose the rhythm in which you come back online, or quote unquote awaken, which is, the name of the podcast, right? Like divine awakening. So it's like you get to choose the pace through which you awaken. And awakening is basically just remembering who you truly are, not just, in mind, but in energy. And so that's that. Okay, that literally just came out of me. Like, I don't even know, just something just came through. But I'm going to just come back right now and do the channeling. I'm going to be reading from my journal now. If you want to join us for Remember Her, it's $33 to join us as the entrance and doorway portal By the way, when we do an exchange like this, when you say yes and you pay the $33, you do the energy exchange and you enter through that portal, it's almost an honoring for you saying, yes, I'm here for this. Yes, I receive this. It's not something that's just pushed towards you, because again, you are in full control of your awakening. You get to decide when you're ready to remember and how you're ready to remember. And so the entrance of, paying for this space and saying yes and going into the website or the link and making that sacred transaction of saying yes, it's so important. Don't bypass it. It's an opportunity that I'm giving you for you to say yes to yourself and to fully receive what's on the other end of this activation for you. So again, it's not a masterclass. It's not, I will have some masterclasses where I will be sharing some teachings or some codes, and it's going to be more of like a code that I am sharing with you, but this is just going to be an experience. You are going to feel it in your body and your energy. Is an energy transmission. And it's something that it's wanting to be awakened within you. And if this is the space to do it, I'm really excited to do that work with you. So if you want the link, it's in the show notes. All right, so let me go into the transmission. This is the last one out of the 3, as I said. So if you haven't listened to the other 2 transmissions, this is a series of 3 of what was the name that I called this series. I have it here, so I'm going to just look it up because I totally forgot. Yes, Beyond the Senses. And so any other episodes that you see that say Beyond the Senses are the other episodes that are like almost like the build up towards this one. So you can listen to this, and if you're like, oh, I want more, go listen to those 2 other episodes. Let's go. Okay, so this started because I was in a frequency where I was feeling frustrated. Like I was really frustrated. And when we are frustrated, and this is really important to know that like when something is moving through your field and is frustrating, it's a portal. And a lot of the times we can feel like, okay, if I don't feel good, then is something wrong with me or I have to fix it. But what if instead of you feeling a certain way is just a portal towards alchemy? Meaning like, this goes into another episode, but I wanted to share because a friend of mine asked me, like, how do you access certain frequencies? Let's say the frequency of wealth, frequency of money. And I was like, it's all oneness. And so you don't need to feel good all the time in order for you to be able to access, knowledge and wisdom and knowing, or even to be yourself at all. Anyway, for another episode, but for the purpose of this one, it's important to know that like, if in this moment, you're coming back to this episode and you're like, I'm just feeling a little bit out of myself, right? Like my ego is running the show. I'm feeling frustrated. Like I don't see clearly. Perhaps it's a portal instead of a problem, right? Like the problem becomes actually the doorway to walk through, to alchemize, and to see it as something that wants to move through you. And so in this moment, I acknowledged very, very honestly that I was feeling frustrated and I was feeling angry. And so I began to open the channel and channel right. And I asked for higher guidance to come through because I couldn't really see myself. So I asked, and this is very raw, very real. I said, why do I feel so little and unimportant? And here is the answer. Because in the scheme of things, you are. This is but a short and temporary moment in time. Self-importance only brings suffering and need that cannot be fulfilled. You are as important as you know that you are not. You don't need to be important to be so. Releasing and surrendering the need to be important will liberate your need and give you way for a new way. Self-importance has to go. The need to prove has to go. And it has to be eradicated from your field. Only then you will know just how important you truly are. For you, it is hard to trust right now because you need to prove, and that weight's heavy on you. So think about anything right now that you feel like you need to prove. That's just me talking. So coming back, it is hard to trust because you need to prove, and that weight's heavy on you. The need to be liked and prove that what you know is right. That is a force that manipulates and disrupts your work and your channel. Detachment with commitment, determination and devotion Remember that. Detachment with commitment. Determination with devotion. You truly want to help? They ask. Start by releasing control. Know that you are guided by something bigger than you. We know that it is hard. The pieces of you feeling insignificant, it is the ego. It's looking for importance in feedback and external confirmation. If you were to connect with you, they ask. If you were to connect with you, you'll know you are not insignificant, don't you? If you connect with you right now, you know that you're not insignificant, don't you? That it is just a story wanting to be fed. And I write, I'm dropping the need to be important. And I say, I have a fear that I will be nothing then. And they say, when you are nothing, you are everything. It means you have access, freedom, true freedom. I'm going to read that again. I said, I'm dropping the need to be important, but I have a fear that then I will be nothing. And they said, when you are nothing, you are everything. It means you have access, true freedom. You, now they remind me, you have a leader's voice. And just parenthesis, like if you're listening to this, it's probably also part for you. You have a leader's voice, an energy to be listened to without the need to impose. Is the ego, not feeling enough, and so manipulating. Right now, you are influenced by external voices that make you believe that you are nothing and that you have to pretend. But that is not true. You already are. Come back to your original essence. And I write, my fear is I will not be enough and it will not work out. And they say, but your light is enough and more powerful than any material force. It's indestructible. This is how you surrender right now in this moment. You cannot have surrender and control. You cannot have surrender and control. You've got to choose to surrender. And underneath the mask of the ego, there is you. That's the end of the conversation. I hope that you come back to that conversation from the beginning and that you let it not only make sense, but spark insights within you. Perhaps not the whole conversation makes sense to you. Perhaps there's just little pieces. What I like about these conversations and what I like about energy work and like awakening from the within, from within, is that it's not that we're here to fix anything, but the more we soften into remembrance, into truth, into vulnerability of seeing ourselves so raw, like seeing myself like, whoa, I have this need to be important right now. There is something that's coming through, and they're helping me see that that importance was coming from this distorted pieces in my field. And what that means is that I was maybe listening to things that were making me forget of who I was. Like I was maybe listening to too many podcasts or to too many other people. Like I had distortions in my field that were not helping in believing in myself. It was actually helping me. It was actually making me believe that there was anything missing. There was something missing inside of myself. They were also reflected back to me that the more I had this need to be important coming from the ego or coming from manipulation, the more I was suffering. And that if I was able to surrender consciously and again, eventually subconsciously, surrendering this need to be important, then all of a sudden I would have realized that I've been important all along, that I've been important all along, that I didn't need to force myself to be important or to impose my leadership or to impose my codes to anybody, that I could just simply be free. And to speak from that, I would be felt more deeply and received more openly, in that there was no need for manipulation or control. And that I couldn't have, and this was another thing, like I couldn't have surrender and control at the same time. So I either was going in the path of controlling or I was going in the path of surrendering, but I could not have both. And I think that's a very beautiful thing, because I said at the beginning of this podcast episode, you get to choose. You have free will and nobody can override that ever. So you get to choose which path you're walking. Like even this moment, you want to prove, and you want to prove yourself to be right, and you want to, be really important, and it's coming from that, and you decide to choose and to stay in that frequency and to operate from that, then you're probably going to have a lot of initiations to show you what that path is going to teach you. and help you remember. Or you can choose a different path if you're open up for another one, maybe a higher frequency one where you're more in understanding of who you truly are. So anyway, I hope this episode landed in your heart and in your energy, in your field. And perhaps in this moment, there's things are coming up for you. Take out a journal, write it down so that you remember. And also don't try to make sense of all of this, because it's all a beautiful orchestrated way of just little things that make us think differently, make us all of a sudden transcend the limitations of a way that we've been thinking. And that is when transformation happens. Thank you for being part of Divine Awakening. I hope that you go and listen to the other episodes if you haven't. And if you do feel the calling of being inside of Remember Her, the transmission that's happening in April 11th, it will be my absolute honor to walk that doorway together. So I will talk to you very soon. Have a lovely rest of your day.